Hey guys, this is Eddie, the CEO of Contracting Empire, and I'm joined today by Raul, one of our senior data scientists, and we're really gonna go deep into seasonality for contractors and how it's really affecting and how it's mostly negatively affecting how contractors run their businesses. And most of the time, I realistically, I don't even think that marketing agencies are taking seasonality into account when they're working on their clients' accounts. And I kind of want to showcase how we really think about it and how you can think about it. So instead of freaking out during the winter months when work is slow, what can you do about those winter months and how can you set yourself up for success when you're actually moving into the season itself? So this is quite an in-depth conversation that we're going to be having today. And I think it's actually the difference between failure and success. Like in many instances, it's that difference between the fight between feast and famine that contractors are having, and seasonality is a huge part of that. In our experience from doing this for more than over 20 years, like we know the importance of seasonality. So let's dive right in. Raul, what are you guys doing when it comes to seasonality? Are there any particular actions that you guys are doing? Or when you are thinking of seasonality for our clients, what do you guys do?
So we try to analyze seasonality and see what's coming in the next period and how can we adjust to that period. And also it helps us to assess the results, if we are on the right path or not at the moment. Because, for example, when the season is in peak, everybody can have great results, but you don't really know if you reached your maximum potential or not based on the circumstances, the market, the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you guys have worked hard and really put together this extensive document with gathering all of that data. I've seen that stuff and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I know about this thing before? And I thought it was so valuable to share with the audience and kind of see how we actually deeply think about these things, because I think it's important for people to really understand the difference between good marketing and really average marketing. So let me share my screen and we'll walk through that document together. Let me just scroll down here. So basically, talk to me a little bit about what this map is and what it does.
So here we try to divide all the states into like commonalities and basically find how can we group them into tiers based on the climate and the seasons. And this way we are able to merge data from multiple states to spot more accurate trends, because the lower data set that we are analyzing, the more variation we can have and more noise. So by using big data samples, we can spot seasonality way better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I see basically you guys have 4 tiers here. Tier
Yes.
1 being warm and mild year-round. Tier 2, hot summers, mild winters, 4 distinct seasons, and then cold winters and warm summers. Awesome. So this is great. And now basically you have all of these contractor niches, right, in which you are studying these trends, right?
Exactly.
So if I am to open, for example, deck building, and I'm looking at, let's say that I want to study a deck builder that's in tier 3, right? So they have 4 distinct seasons. Okay, wow. Okay, tell me about this. Well, what am I looking at here?
So we analyze the data of the past 3 years. This is the maximum amount of data that we can pull from Google Keyword Planner. And we started to look at it month by month. And here we have a visual representation of the growth or decrease in the search volumes month by month. So let's take an example. Now we just entered October. So if we look at October, we can see that compared to September, compared to the month before, we can expect a 21% decrease in the number of searches. Now, this means that the interest is decreasing by 20% compared to the previous month, and this will eventually reflect in the number of calls, the requests, and the leads as well.
Absolutely. And are you guys doing anything in particular? So obviously, like I see that this is just a decrease, minus 17% decrease here, minus 17% here, minus 21, minus 27. Like this is like some serious heavy hitting decrease. So what are we doing in particular to kind of fight against this? I'm pretty sure that we're doing some stuff, right?
Yes. So depends on the client, the budget and the state that they are in. So let's take 2 examples. Let's say we have a well-established client who is actually running marketing efforts and SEO and ads for years. Then here, what we would do, we notice that in January, February, March, the trend really picks up. And now these are small months. So for example, we had a client that wanted to ramp up the budget or to spend on advertising in this period because he wanted to keep his crew busy and to have jobs. And we found some creative ways to gather leads by running a spring rush offer. Basically, the offer was that get your deck built now before the season starts, because when the season starts, we will be booked out probably for a few months in advance. The prices will be the new prices from the next year, and so on. So by doing your deck now, in the slower period for us, you basically will get a better price, a higher craftsmanship, and you will get your deck done faster.
Gotcha. So basically what you guys are doing, you are leveraging these slower months to actually start and set up all the landing pages and do all the conversion tracking and prepare all the creatives, and then also start running a little bit of ads, just so basically by the time the season ramps up, then you're just going full force at it, right?
Yes. Or let's take another example. Let's say there's a brand new contractor. He just started his business and it's in October. Now we can see that October, November, December are slow months. It's a great starting point to start building a foundation, a website, claiming your Google business profile, and starting to build your assets. Start building citations, start adding content to your website, start building your SEO strategy, because realistically it takes a few months to build a nice website, to create all that content. And this way, if you build in the slower months, it's actually great, because then when the website is well established and the SEO starts working, you are actually in January, February, March when the demand is high. So by waiting and postponing it and starting in January, you lose realistically 3 months and you just lost half of the peak.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I also love, we had the conversation about this before, and we were talking about the peak months, right? So let's say in this case, we're talking about, let's say January to May in this kind of, in the deck niche and for a tier 3 type of seasonality. And we were saying, like sometimes contractors sign up these new marketing agencies or people in the peak months. And then they say, oh my God, like my shit's popping off, like everything is working. Oh my God, these guys have brought me so many new leads and everything is working great. But, let's say that in March, now they're getting you 20% more leads, right? But we can see here from this trend that it's basically you should have gotten 85% more leads. So the question becomes, are they actually doing a better job with that 20%, or are they robbing you of the 65% extra that you could actually leverage and take on, right? So I think that's obviously we have here a little bit, I see there's a bit of data skewing here happening from probably the COVID months. It kind of seems like it, but taking the average basically on these 3 months, we actually have an average of 60%, right? So if somebody is coming in and getting you 20% more leads, you're actually missing out 40% leads, right? So I love that saying that you had, that every marketer is a genius in the peak season. So that stuck with me for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And on the other hand, for example, if you have a marketing company that's bringing you a constant amount of leads for, let's say, September, October, November, when the lead is decreasing, that means that they actually are doing a great job because they are outperforming the seasonality that's against them. It's a two-way street, and we should always be very, very aware of the seasonality and what to expect basically month by month.
Yeah, I actually checked out, I think it was one of our landscaping clients, and I see that you guys really worked against the season, like are crushing it. Like it's actually on an upward trend, even in a downward season. So that's absolutely amazing to see. Like that got me really excited. So yeah, you guys are doing an absolutely phenomenal job there on the SEO crew. So great job on that.
Thank you. You can also visualize the data as a chart. So we have chart for each tiers and each niches. And for some, it's easier to spot the season and the cycles.
Okay, let's take a look maybe at decks first.
Yes, perfect.
Right, so because we already saw, I see that you guys have a lot of data gathered here. So let's just scroll down to the chart. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger so we can see what's up. There you go. Okay.
So we have the seasonality for the last 3 years, and we can pretty clearly see that each year it's the same cycle. So it's repeating. It has some small variations here and there, but overall the trend is pretty clear. And here in this chart, we merge the seasonality for all the climate types, and we can see exactly what's coming in the next month. Where are we situated at the current month to make better data-driven decisions?
Man, I love this so much. You can't, like, this gets me excited. Like, I don't really know that people know, but we are a data-driven company first, right? So that is how we make all of our marketing decisions. And I think that's one of the things that really sets us apart from everyone else. Like everybody talks a good game and everybody says things, but who from those people can actually back up what they're saying by data and can actually take responsibility for what they say that they're going to take responsibility for? So we've been always huge on that. We've been always big on data. We've been always big on making decisions based on data, because realistically, data never lies, right? It's not a feeling, oh my God, I feel that, the leads are decreasing. Well, are they or are they not? We can look at seasonality. Okay, they are decreasing by 21%. We can expect them to decrease by 21% in October or November. Great. So what are the actions? Sure, we know that they're decreasing, but then, okay, we need to do these specific actions to help you out, right? So depending on the client, we're going to be doing different things to help them out. So I think this gets me really excited. What I see right here right from the get-go is that in tier 3 and tier 4 states, the decrease is definitely more prevalent than in the tier 1 and tier 2. The winters are a little bit harder, obviously, and then that creates that decrease in search volumes. And then you also have milder winters I see here in the warmer climates. So realistically, if you have even an outdoor service, if you're in an outdoor niche, right, as a contractor and you're doing marketing, you would still crush it probably even in the winter months. Now, obviously, with a big caveat, like you still have to take into account that during Christmas for 2 weeks, like nobody does anything. They're not really going to be thinking about their deck. They're not going to be really thinking about anything besides Christmas and spending time with their families, which I really hope that you are doing as well as a contractor, and you're not worrying about your marketing and such. Like if you need help, we're here for that. But, shameless plug there. Going back to this seasonality, I think it's even great to see that for tier 3 and tier 4 states, the number of months is even less than in the hotter climates to actually make a killing and make your marketing work. So it's even more crucial and more important for you to get your marketing dialed in right.
Exactly. And you can even see that for the warmer climates, they peak around the same period of the year, but the peak is longer, it's for more months. So for example, we can see that for tier 1 and tier 2, it's peaking from February to July. But for the tier 3 and 4, it's peaking around March and May. So it has a bigger window of the peak season as well.
Yeah, this is solid. This is absolutely amazing to see, just to visualize it like this. Yeah, it's amazing. I think it would be valuable for the viewer. Let's take one of those services where we are actually, indoors. We're not really affected by the weather, right? Like remodeling. What can you tell me here? What is the deal with remodeling or indoor services?
So even if remodeling is an indoor service, it's still affected by seasonality. Like you mentioned earlier, for example, December for all the services, even though they are inside, outside, or all the emergency services or whatever, all of them are affected by seasonality in December. And as well, people usually tend to plan for like big remodels or big projects around the house in the beginning of the year. And we can clearly see that in January, February, March, things are ramping up all the way through May. And then all the year, slowly, the demand is starting to decrease, especially for the colder climates where once it's fall or winter, people don't really want to have a construction site in their kitchen or all that mess. And basically, they all plan for summer or spring when they are thinking about building or adding additions to their house.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense. Like nobody really wants to have their kitchen destroyed or have it all demoed and opened up during Christmas, right? This is the time where everybody wants to come around their Christmas table and around the kitchen table and, spend quality time with their families.
Exactly.
You were telling me like you guys are doing some stuff now also for Thanksgiving, right? So I think there's one thing that I would like to touch upon on how contractors can actually think about this and how they should be proactive about seasonality instead of just waiting things to happen to them, is that time delay that they really have to take care of, right? So even when we're running ads or even if we're doing SEO and local SEO, we have to take that seasonality time span into account, right? So even with ads, let's take Google Ads, for example. We've got the time that we need to set up the landing pages, the time we need to set up the tracking, all of the campaigns, all of that good stuff. Then you've got Google's 2-week learning period, if the budget is smaller, and then you kind of want to hedge against that one. And then you also have the time the AI learns what actually people are attracted to, and we dial in the keyword structure and all that good stuff. And this is one of the things that we advise all of our clients to do is when they start running Google Ads, I'm talking just about Google Ads right now, they should plan at least to run Google Ads for at least 3 months to get a good data sample and a good data set and have us test enough things in that 3-month period so we can actually make a dent. And we've seen this over and over again that month 1 sucks, month 2 is a little bit better, but then month 3 is like really bringing in some really great results. If you would just look at snapshots, you would think at month 1, oh my God, Google Ads suck. I'm never doing Google Ads again. These guys are scammers. And then you bail and then you are left with the sour taste in your mouth and with just the impression that Google Ads don't work. But have you actually given the Google Ads enough time for them to actually work? That is the main question, right? So I think that that's a solid thing to think about when planning, even for running ads. I think Facebook is way less pretentious, right? So you can actually have your campaign set up in like 2 weeks and have all the stuff set up and you can just start running ads and Mama Meta is just going to take all your money versus Google. That's a good one to touch upon, right? Google will not spend more budget if there are not enough clicks, right, in the market.
Yes, exactly. It depends how the campaign is set up, but if you are targeting specific keywords, it's 100% true. So if the search volume is not there to sustain the budget, then it only spends like the amount of people that are actually searching. Compared to Facebook, where you don't have keywords to target, Facebook will just show the ads to whoever thinks it's a good candidate, and it will spend all your budget for that day for sure.
I think this is an important piece, right? Like Google is going to get capped out by the search volume, by the people looking and searching for those specific keywords. We've also kind of seen this thing where you've got marketing agencies bundling in campaigns, all sorts of weird keywords like, bathroom remodeling ideas or kitchen remodeling ideas, or, like these low quality keywords that don't really lead to leads. And they bundle them with the money getting keywords like, bathroom remodeling or bathroom remodeler or bathroom contractor, or, like those high intent keywords. When somebody's looking for those keywords, they really want the service done. And we have these situations where, for example, an agency comes and says, like, oh my God, but we're getting you $1 cost per click, right? Like it's $1 per click. And oh my God, like your campaigns are popping and you've got 1,000 clicks coming in. And then we look at our campaigns and, like very shy, like maybe 100 clicks or whatever it is. Maybe, Raul, you can say more of the average number of clicks that we get for a specific budget. But the idea is that we have less clicks, but they are definitely more likely to convert to leads. So it just makes sense that the cost per click is going to be higher, right? So basically you've got this campaign where you've got all of these cheap clicks that amount to no leads. So you spend the money and you get nothing in return, or you spend the same amount of money, but now suddenly we're targeting the highest amount of visitors and now we actually get the leads. So which one is better, right? I'll let you decide, but I think it's basically a no-brainer, right? You want to go with the option that actually generates leads, even if it's the cost per click is more expensive. Like not all clicks are created equal. So I think that's a very important piece to keep in mind.
100%. We've seen that too. Like for example, for inspirational type of keywords like kitchen remodeling gallery, remodeling designs, kitchen remodeling portfolio, the cost per click is way lower, but the conversion rate is close to zero. They are usually just looking for pretty pictures and what's possible, but they are not really that high in the funnel to be ready to purchase right now.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a little bit of an asterisk there, right? Obviously, you can still make things happen if you're really focused and targeting and you're creating a nurturing campaign where you're taking those keywords, those low intent keywords, and then you're raising the awareness of the prospect and taking them through a process, through a nurturing process that is very intentional. And then you move those people along the awareness timeline. Sure, you will be able to even make those campaigns work. I don't think there are a lot of agencies that are running that type of campaign. So I'm just talking about, like how can you actually pick the lowest hanging fruit? The way that you pick the lowest hanging fruit is just by hitting up all of these people that are actually in the market to buy your services. And that's usually around 10% of the people in the market. Sure, you'll have 60% of the people that are, could be nurtured, but, I always recommend contractors to make money first. and then get creative and then do nurturing and then spend a lot of money into fancy CRMs and automations and all that stuff. So take them one by one, make money first, fix your cash flow, do all those things so you have money coming in. And then when you have money coming in, you can do whatever the heck you want. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can just, buy then your trucks, buy then your homes and whatever you want, your rentals and so on and so forth. But before you get creative, make sure that your whole operational costs are under wraps and you are just doing the right actions, right? You have money, you have a positive cash flow, you always have cash working for you and your business. So I think that's an important piece to consider.
100%. Basically, it all boils down to the foundation. You need a strong foundation, and then you can focus on scaling into other strategies, like you mentioned, with lead nurturing and all that. But it applies to a very small percent of the contractors out there.
I love it. I think it was very interesting for me to see that even kitchen and bathroom remodeling, like remodeling services, like interior work, is also being affected by seasonality. Apparently not that much, but still affected by seasonality. So that's cool to see. And also in the warmer seasons, that even it doesn't matter where you are in the US, you're still going to get some sort of an impact created by seasonality. I think this is all amazing. Like, what can the regular contractor do, right? So we are looking at this chart and we know what's going on. By the way, I think there's an important point that we can also touch upon on leveraging past data to make decisions. So I think that's a good topic that we can dive deep into. And then basically, what can people do and kind of what's an action plan that you would recommend for people to take? So maybe talk to me a little bit about how we leverage past data to make decisions and how you've seen that on our clients' accounts. And then talk to me about what can contractors do to take advantage of seasonality.
Yes. So for example, we have some clients with longer history of a few years, and it's great to see actual data because here we can see approximations. These are approximations from Google, but once you have Google Analytics installed, you can actually see the number of visits and the number of leads and all the metrics. For sure, you can make better data-driven decisions. And we were able to spot some trends. And by spotting the trend before it happens, it's a great advantage because, like Eddie mentioned, it takes a little bit of time to set up an ads campaign or to start pushing SEO into that direction. Everything is about timing. So to prepare for what's coming, it's a very important thing. At Contracting Empire, we look at the contractors as partners and we have their best interest at heart always, because if they win, we win. And by having historical data to make these decisions, it's great. Or if we don't have it, we can just look at the seasonality, which is an approximation, but is pretty close to what's going to happen year by year.
Definitely, like Raul mentioned, right? We are your partner, right? We don't take it lightly. So it's very important to understand who are you partnering up with, right? Do you have somebody that actually asks you, okay, tell me about boots on the ground data, right? What do you see? What's the quality of the leads? What kind of leads are you getting? Okay, like how are they converting? We also set up, software like call tracking software and all of these things. So we can have the attribution data and we know exactly where the lead is coming from. And I know that our ads crew is also listening into these call recordings so they can understand the quality of the lead. They flag the quality of the lead. And then when they actually find some relevant leads that are really good, I know that they take those calls, those MP3s that they transcribe, and then they send them over to the copywriting team. So the copywriting team can actually take those insights and craft better copy for the landing pages and the campaigns and the creatives. It's definitely a very huge and joint effort on our side, on all of the teams collaborating together. And then obviously it's a very big thing that we work with you as the contractor, as a partner in this, so we can actually get your campaigns to succeed and have quick feedback loops, get feedback fast, so we can help you in faster, right? So I think that's the whole game. Like, how can we put more money in your pocket? If we put more money in your pocket, like obviously you're not going to get rid of us. So it's in our best interest, in order for us to keep you on for longer, to give you great results so you can actually grow your business, so you can make more money. We have this decking client who came with us. He was making $1 million a year in revenue. He really wanted to push aggressively and really dominate the market fast. So we budgeted 10% for that based on the data and everything that we saw in his market. So that was around $100,000. But at the end of the year, and this was back in 2022, I think, he closed 3 million. And this year, I think they're moving towards 10 million or something, a ridiculous number like that. And basically, the marketing spend remained pretty constant. So now it's like around 1%. Your costs become more fixed. The more revenue you make, basically the less significant the marketing becomes as a chunk of your business. And I think another piece to also think about this, especially in the beginning when it's definitely hard to invest in your marketing, is never to pay out of pocket, because basically then the money is coming out of your net profit. So instead of having marketing money coming out of your net profit, I think it's important for you to figure out what's your cost per client acquisition and try to bake that into your pricing. So basically the clients pay for themselves. And that is when you really win. That is how like all of these huge boys, all of these huge corporations are killing it, right? Like they literally, that's why Renewal by Anderson, for example, can charge double of what the window replacement contractor in the same area, just because they open up so many more opportunities. And that because they have so much revenue coming in, they don't think about, oh my God, now I have to pay another 5K a month. Like for them, it's like peanuts, it's nothing, right? So for them, adding $5,000 to their marketing budget is just, literally nothing. Versus, for the little guy, for the people that we serve, $5,000 could be quite a big stretch. So we try to get you to win, and we try to make things happen for you, even on limited budgets, but we also want to have enough of a budget to ensure that your campaigns and your SEO and local SEO has enough time and has enough budget so you can keep it consistent and constant so we can help you win. Because when you win, we win. So that's kind of how we think about all of this. Long story short, tell me, what should our audience do when they are thinking about seasonality? We're in October now at the time of recording this video. What should they do? We're moving into winter. People are going to start freaking out. What are some things that they can leverage? What are some things that they can really do to not freak out?
You always need to be very aware of the seasonality, where you are in the season and what's coming next. They're equally important. And in our case, since we're in October, November, December will be slower months, and it's the ideal period to work on the foundation, on the website, on the Google business profile, or on the ads campaigns, or on all of them, because the work takes time to kick in and to fulfill and to give it enough time to pick up momentum. So this would be the ideal time to work on the foundation in order to capitalize on the growth that's going to come next season.
Yeah, I think this is actually an important thing to touch upon. I know that many marketing agencies says that, SEO takes time and it's going to be 6 months until you start seeing results. What can you tell me based on that, right? Based on this seasonality chart and based on what we actually see, like boots on the ground, like does it really take 6 months?
For sure not. It matures more after 6 months probably, but you can for sure see results in 1 to 3 months. And that's why it's the ideal period to start working on the content and optimizing the Google business profile and building citations and just dialing in the foundation for your organic traffic sources like the Google business profile and website, because they are extremely important. And now it's a great time to put effort into them so you can reap the rewards next season.
I think many people say that the website is foundational and is very important, but I don't think people realize actually how important it is. So we have the data, right? And we know that your website, it affects 32% of your local SEO rankings and 60% of your SEO rankings. So we're not talking about a small change. So it's more than half, right? Like 60% of your SEO and 32% of your local SEO. That is huge. Everybody has a website nowadays. Let's be frank, right? Like I think, and nobody's really, oh my God, but why are your websites 10K? Well, because they work. Right? Because they actually work, they really do what they're supposed to be doing, and they do create and they do lay that foundation of 32% plus 60%. So it actually gets you to win faster. So I think that's a little nuance that we should be touching upon. Everybody's talking about the importance of the websites, but I think it's more important to talk about why the website is important. And maybe we'll do another video on this, on how to actually think about your website and what actually goes into a good website. Because I think there are a lot of people that are just trying to sell you hot air, and I don't think that's fair, right? It just confuses people and it's not cool. I don't like that. Definitely on point with what you're saying. Definitely focus on the foundational stuff first and then build that all up. So by the time the season comes, you're not taken by surprise. So yeah, solid call, Raul. Thank you so much for doing this. It's always a pleasure to geek out about data and look at things and just help our audience also see the great depths and the lengths that we go, like this is what's going on, this is what the data shows us, and this is how we make decisions. And based on that, we can tell you that this is kind of what's going to happen with your account. And most of the time, it's also unsexy. So I have tens of calls, right, with clients, and they're always shocked by the fact that, oh my God, I'm not trying to sell people, and I'm not trying to sell them the dream, and I'm very upfront, right? If you can take that, if you know that I'm here and we are here for you and in your best interest, like just look at that and stop following the hot air. Right? Just start looking at the people that can actually help you and actually understand what the hell they're doing and have been doing this for decades. Like we've been doing this shit for 2 decades. So we really know what the hell we're doing. So I just wanted to put that out there. Any parting words, Raul?
As parting words, I think the most important thing is to be aware of the season, be aware of what's coming next, and tailoring the perfect strategy for your business, for your needs, to not waste the next season and actually reap the benefits of the work that you can do right now. Because if you start too late, the season will be already gone and you have to wait another year in order to have the growth that you deserve.
Yeah, if you think that spending money is expensive, see how expensive wasting time is, for sure. Yeah, if you've been on the fence with really getting your stuff done and dialed in for 2025, this is now the time to start taking action. So that's an amazing takeaway. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. Have an amazing day, everyone.
Have an amazing day.